Straight into the zone of Drive Chat. It's a Wednesday, so you know we're hanging out with our Drive doctor, Dr. Yaw Osafo of Medical's Hospital. But let me remind you that Drive Chat is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Auntie Mary's Gripe Water, a relieved child is a happy child. Bell Pack Paper Tissue, just perfect. Access Bank, your number one remittance bank. Access Bank, more than banking. It's a new world of doing business, and your business shouldn't be left out. It's time to get a Momo for business today to accept payment from over 15 million Momo customers. All you need to do is to have a business registration certificate and your Ghana card. Applying to be MTN Momo merchant has been made simple and fast. You just have to dial star 5051 hash and follow the prompts or apply online at momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh. It's long, but it's simple. momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh. You receive a reference number which you can use to track your application so that you don't get caught waiting. Enjoy secure transactions and convenient transactions for your business with MTN Momo today. Note that the application is free. Do not pay any money to anyone for a merchant payment solution. Report any fraudulent charges using the Momo app available on Play Store and App Store. Now, in life, you always have to insist on the best, and when you find it, stick to it, please. Bell Pack Paper Tissue is one of those best things in life. Bell Pack has tea rolls. They are soft but not weak, strong but not hard, just perfect. Bell Pack tea roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same for Bell Pack kitchen towel. It cleans in one wipe. It's gone. One Bell Pack lasts long and saves you money. So switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue, be it pocket tissue, table napkins, toilet rolls, or kitchen towels. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect. If you want to be a distributor, please call 055 11 44400. It's another quality product from Bell Aqua. Now we're ready for our Drive Doctor. But just before he comes in, happy birthday going out to the divisional head of Zenith Bank Ghana Limited of Division 1 team, Lady Mabel Naughty. God bless you and increase your years. And that's from Team Zenith Bank and, of course, Nicholas Kofi. And then to you, Felicia Obing, you're a nursing student at Central University Miocho Campus. You're celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday. It's coming from your brother, Afuaka. Drive Doctor is here. Doc, finally in 3 weeks. I have seen you in person.
You've seen me in person, yes. We've been doing this over the phone for some time now.
I wasn't sure because now it could be AI that I'm talking to. So I wasn't so sure. So I'm so glad that before Lexis comes back, you come in person.
The AIs, they haven't figured out the baldness bit. And they
can't do it. They're natural.
Natural. They haven't figured that out. Yeah. Right, but good. It's good to be in studio. Yes. A few weeks I have been a bit tight. It rained, and then last week too I was so battling a little bit of cold. But we've been talking about a very important subject the past 2 weeks. Right. I know it's Philip's favorite subject. Since Philip is my friend today, it's my subject as well. Philip likes food for a period.
Then please, it's God the Father, God the Son,
and then God the Holy Spirit.
Hey, I love
I mean, nothing could be more terrible than unfortunately eating and having health problems as a result of the food. So I felt that we should look at food safety in all its dimensions. And I think 2 weeks ago we looked at the food labeling.
Yep, we did.
That's a very important aspect of food safety. And I believe now that most of our listeners have started the practice of reading labels, knowing what to look out for. I think last week too we looked at the thing that most of us are familiar with, the food poisoning, where food is contaminated with microorganisms. And then unfortunately you have to spend a lot of the time sitting on the toilet and pushing everything out. Not very, very pleasant. Today, the concluding part, we'll take questions. Because we haven't had the opportunity for our callers, to speak to different aspects of food. But today, I was going to look at food additives in general. Mm-hmm. So there are things that we add to food that won't ordinarily or on their own qualify as food ingredients. So we'll call them food additives.
Additives.
And they do a lot of different things to the food. Either they taste they change the taste, they make it more appealing visually, so they change the color. Either they give it a certain aroma to it. So these are what we call food additives.
Okay.
But Kofi, sometime last month, Sami Odami was badgering me. Oh, Dr. Osafo, speak about this. I was like, what do you want me to speak to? And it was about a particular sweetener that was doing the rounds on social media, because the World Health Organization had just released a report that said that this sweetener potentially could have some health hazards.
Right.
And they mentioned the C word. And the C word in medicine, even sends doctors hiding under tables and chairs. So the word cancer was bandied about the word sweetener, and therefore social media was on fire.
Right.
And we doctors had to speak to it. So today I decided that for the food additives, I'm just going to look at this particular thing. So a lot of people who, for one health reason or just wanting to improve their wellness, would say, I've stopped eating sugar. And then they want a substitute because the cocoa sakura thing.
It's difficult.
It's tough.
It's difficult.
At least your tongue should enjoy something.
Yeah.
So you want to substitute the sugar with something. I think that's what generally sweetness are in very, very simple terms. You want something to be sweet. I think before we came on air, Philip was asking me, but apart from sugar, what else is sweet? We've been so conditioned to think that anytime we talk about something sweet, it has to be sugar. Well, sugar is sucrose. It's a chemical molecule. It's a type of carbohydrate. So there are other chemical molecules that can also give you a sweet taste.
Right.
Not necessarily being sugar or being sucrose. So what is aspartame? So that is the name of this particular sweetener, aspartame.
Aspartame.
Yes. So aspartame is an artificial or a chemical sweetener which is used in various food and beverage products. And it's been around for a long time, since the 1980s. And they use it in diets. Those who do the diet drinks.
Yeah.
I don't want to mention any particular brand. I almost did.
Wine zero.
So diet this, diet that. So the diet drinks, and I'm not talking about the pineapple, orange juices. No, I mean those who are marketing a particular those brands. So the diet drinks, chewing gums.
Wow.
They're using ice creams. In place of the sugar. Dairy products such as yogurt. If you've tasted raw yogurt before, Kofi, it's difficult to eat it.
I know.
So you want there to be some sweetness to it.
Right.
So it's in there. Breakfast cereals, a lot of the breakfast cereals right now, even toothpaste. So aspartame is a chemical sweetener that is added to all of these things to tickle that aspect of our tongue and our palate that's responsible for tasting sweetness.
Sweetness, okay.
Okay, so what's the connection, if there is any at all, between this particular sweetener called aspartame and cancer? Well, let me give you the long answer first, and then we will end with the short answer.
Agreed.
I can understand why all the buzz on social media, because cancer is one of the leading causes of death globally. Every year, 1 in 6 people die from cancer, Kofi.
Wow.
1 in 6. So of all the deaths that we hear about, 1 in 6, it will be attributable to cancer. So I can understand why, people are anxious that this sweetener that I put in my cocoa is going to give me cancer. Then we have to really do something about it.
Right.
There are 2 important bodies that I want everybody to know about. These days, the era of the internet means that everybody can put out any information.
True.
So they said we are now in the post-truth world. I heard that expression last week on BBC also, and I found it very intriguing. It's a post-truth world. So you don't know whatever it is that you are reading, whether it's true or not.
Right.
So referencing where the source of information is coming from is very, very important. So the WHO is a very, very important United Nations organization. And they have a wing that is responsible for research and guidelines on cancer. It is called the International Agency for Research into Cancer, IARC. I think most Ghanaians do know about the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. They are responsible, another UN agency responsible for food, nutrition, and then food security. So these are two UN bodies with a long history, a good track record of credibility. And Kofi, they conducted independent but complementary studies or reviews to assess the potential carcinogenic hazard of aspartame. And when we say carcinogenic potential of a chemical or of, say, an organism, then we are looking at its ability to cause cancer. So the carcinogenic potential is its ability to cause cancer. Right. So their reviews looked at the carcinogenic potential of this sweetener called aspartame if it is consumed at the recommended daily dose that most people would consume it. This was the first time the International Agency for Research into Cancer, the WHO agency, was looking at aspartame. But it was the third time that the Food and Agriculture Organization was looking at it. The third time.
Wow.
So quite a lot of studies have gone into it. And if you look at that joint expert committee, it's made up of some really, really important people. And after reviewing the available scientific literature, both evaluations noted that the evidence we have currently is very, very limited. The evidence connecting this sweetener to a particular named cancer. Unfortunately, I've never seen any of the social media sites mention that particular cancer. Cancer is an umbrella term. You can have cancer of the scalp, the head, the neck, every organ, the bones, everywhere, lungs, cervix, breasts, prostate. So just saying cancer is very, very vague.
And broad, I guess.
And yes, and very, very too broad. But the report was actually looking about was looking at the cancer-causing potential of the sweetener in respect of one particular type of liver cancer.
Okay, so it's in connection to one particular type of liver cancer.
Liver cancer.
Okay.
All right, called hepatocellular carcinoma. It's a type of liver cancer. And it says that aspartame is possibly carcinogenic to humans. That's what the IRAC said, the WHO body. It said, possibly carcinogenic. I think that's what people saw that phrase, possibly carcinogenic, and then ran with it. But Kofi, it's a scientific expression. And I would like to discuss with our listeners a table of definitions of the WHO so that we can understand what we mean by the possibly carcinogenic.
Right. Doc, so, before you go on, let me remind our listeners that we'll be taking calls.
Yes.
We'll be doing like a revision. Of last 2 weeks, and last week we spoke about food poisoning and then food safety, and then today we're talking about food additives, in this matter, aspartame, and how it's related to cancer and what have you. So let's have the table then. Right.
So the WHO classifies all hazards, cancer-causing hazards, into 4 groups. So you have group 1, group 2A, group 2B, and then group 3.
I see.
Right. So let's group 1. Group 1 means that they will come out and say this particular agent causes cancer in humans. Full stop. It's carcinogenic to humans. So that will be the expression, carcinogenic to humans. Meaning there is sufficient evidence in both animal studies and humans to show an association. That's group 1.
Okay.
So when they say carcinogenic to humans, that's what they mean. That's group 1. Group 2A, they will come out and say probably carcinogenic to humans. Probably. What this means is that there is limited evidence of cancer-causing ability. Limited is where this sweetener says possibly carcinogenic. Well, that is where this sweetener says possibly carcinogenic. Well, that means that there is limited evidence of cancer-causing ability in humans. And as well as experimental animals, there's also less than sufficient evidence.
Right.
Less than sufficient evidence of cancer-causing ability in animals. So it means the evidence supporting cancer-causing in animals is weak. But then there's no evidence of cancer-causing in humans. That is what possibly carcinogenic to humans means.
I see.
So it doesn't mean what the literal English or grammar
says,
will
right?
say that, it said possibly carcinogenic.
There are details.
But there are scientific definitions to it. And the scientific definition is that limited evidence of cancer-causing in humans. And then less than sufficient or weak evidence even in experimental animals. So based on, group 3 says not classifiable as to its carcinogenicity in humans, meaning they don't know at all. So having reviewed all the evidence, what was the conclusion? The Food and Agriculture Organization says the data evaluated that there is no sufficient reason to change the previously established acceptable daily intake of up to 40 milligrams per kilogram body weight for aspartame.
I see.
Nekrakran is saying you can take aspartame at the recommended dose.
I see.
According to the expert committee of the Food and Agriculture Organization.
Okay, Doc, let's activate our phones. Then
Right.
maybe we can continue in between.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there's the number to call is 0302
I'm sure the phone lines are buzzing.
541 0302 216 541. If you've been paying attention to what we've been discussing with our drive doctor in the past 3 weeks, then I'm very sure that you have some questions for doctor with regards to food preservation, food safety, food poisoning, and today, of course, we're talking about aspartame. It says you can take it at the required dose.
At the recommended daily dose. And if I can bring an example before somebody comes on the line.
I think someone is on the line.
All right, sure. So let's take the call.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Papa, I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm well, Ajiman Joseph. Our drive doctor is here, so if you have any questions, let's hear you.
Yeah, last week listening to him when he was talking about food safety, food poisoning, he made mention of expiry dates and best before. I want to ask if, let's say, there's a product and it's left with 2 weeks, and best before that date is left with 2 weeks before that date comes. If you want to consume it, is it safety? Is it okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Hajiman Joseph.
Thank you.
Sure. It is safe. So the thing about dates is that once you're not gone beyond that date, then best before means the best taste, the best consistency of the food, the best aroma, the best of everything, you would get it. But if you consume it beyond that day, well, you won't get the best taste. It doesn't mean that it will be harmful to you. So that's the understanding of the best before. But 2 weeks, 1 day, 12 hours, 2 hours before that date, it's good.
Okay. I think the answer is clear.
Yeah.
Do we have another caller? 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. So, Doc, you wanted to give us an example.
I wanted to give you bring the example of the consumption into sharper focus.
Okay.
If you take one of these, say, soft drinks, diet soft drinks that contains aspartame, you would have to consume more than 14 cans a day to go beyond the recommended.
Oh, so it means it's safe.
14 cans of diet drink that contains aspartame before you go over the recommended daily allowance.
I see.
Yes. So it's that's the conclusion. So I don't want everybody to say they say possibly carcinogenic means that it can cause cancer. There's limited evidence. And then the conclusion is that more scientific studies are needed for definitive conclusions either way. But the available evidence This is how we have concluded.
Right.
But Kofi, this is tongue business. Tongue business. Taste. If in doubt, just avoid it.
That's all.
There are other options, or you can equally train your tongue. So as a physician, and knowing how these things pan out, I would just strongly advise that caution in terms of the consumption. There are alternatives. But I also don't want us to jump onto social media and be labeling this particular sweetener as a liver cancer causing agent.
Right.
Because that is not what the WHO and that is not what the Food and Agriculture Organization has put out.
Right. 0302 216 541. I'm sure people are trying to refer to their notes before they can ask the questions, but we're still here.
All right.
5 minutes to 5, so we can still pick a few more.
So in terms of the additives, again, food additives, we add so much. And unfortunately in Ghana, we've been seeing some things. People are adding some dyes to palm oil, to make the color more red. The Sudan 4 dye, we've heard about it. Unfortunately, I've heard about people injecting certain dyes into oranges or tangerines to give it inner color being a real orange, that it would attract you. These are potentially hazardous additives.
I see.
Because they have not been subjected to experimental research in animals and then even research in humans.
Okay. Doc, we have a caller. Hello.
Sure.
Hello, Kofi Hayford.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
This is Benjamin, popularly known as Judas son
Judas, right. Judas, speak to us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the education, but I want to find out from you if the eating of sugar is dangerous or harmful to our health. At what stage does the consumption of sugar become so dangerous to us?
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, so the question about sugar, if you look at the dangers of sugar, so what's sugar? Sugar is a chemical molecule, sucrose. It's a type of carbohydrate. And you can turn carbohydrates are the fuel sources of the body. You can turn it into glucose, and then glucose is the primary energy currency. So apart from it giving you energy, which you already get from glucose, there's no health benefit to consuming sugar. So I want to look at it from that angle, that do you get benefits rather than that is it harmful? If you don't get benefits from things, but somebody will say, oh, doctor, the taste will make you enjoy the food. So apart from taste, then really consuming sucrose or sugar doesn't give you, there are no health benefits to it. We've also realized that there are also addictive centers in the brain with sugar. And that is why they keep putting a lot of sugar in things, and then it gets people hooked on, particularly children. The dangers then happen that if you take a lot of the sucrose, it's energy. If you don't use that energy, your body converts the energy into fat. Then comes the question of obesity. Then comes all the associated health problems with obesity. The type 2 diabetes, the hypertension, the osteoarthritis, and so on and so forth. So it's a very indirect answer to the harmful effects of consuming sugar. Its addictive, almost addictive nature tend to lead to an overconsumption, and then you have too much energy, you convert it into fat, and then obesity becomes a problem. A hydra-headed problem.
Okay, Doc, thank you. There is a question here for you, but it's the person actually says it's not related. So yes, we agree.
Okay.
So we'll use this one to wrap up. He says,
Sure.
my question is not about today's topic, but I really need the doctor to talk about adematoglyphia. Is there any such word?
Hey.
Okay.
I have to look into my chat GPT.
Okay, but I think he goes on to explain that
All right.
he has an issue of his fingerprints not being able to be read at the bank, and he didn't have any problem when he was younger. He finds it difficult to be verified.
Okay.
What can be done? So what we're going to do is we'll put you in contact with him.
Good.
So please put your contact out.
I think we'll do a show about this fingerprint business, right? So I think we'll do that so that we can answer the question.
Migra, my the last one. The
last one. Right. So the number is 0501 477 340.
Right.
0501 477 340. And Kofi will continue the conversation on our social media handles. WhatsApp is the same number. At Medicals GH is our Twitter handle. This is, it says X or something.
We don't want to go there. We don't want
our
to go
Facebook page is at Medicals Hospital. So, Kofi, people can reach out to us and we can always continue the conversation on that platform.
Thank you very, very much, Doc. We'll see you next week.
My pleasure being
Please
here.
be safe. Alrighty.